What's up, guys? It's Kekoa MacAuley, CEO, founder of the Modern SDR. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact objection handling frameworks that have allowed me to sell over $5.3 million online. We have just over 1,800 plus students inside the Modern SDR also learning this. So hopefully this video will give you guys tons of value, and I'm excited to be hopping in. Now, in the description, if you do want to book in a call with our team to learn more about how you can start, getting into remote triaging, online sales, anything like that, there should be a link. We also got a few different products down there as well. If you want to join me live on a workshop, there should be a link there. We got a few other offers in the description below. But without further ado, let us hop in and let's run it. So the two main objections that I want to talk about today are going to be a think about it objection, right? Or a price objection. Now, if we've ran our discovery well, I have a few other videos that kind of go through this, but if we've ran our discovery somewhat well, a lot of these objections we shouldn't even, actually get to, right? So with every sales call that we have, right, we're going to have our discovery process. So we have discovery, right? And what is our goal in discovery? Well, our goal in discovery is to get our pain point, right? So this is going to be current situation, current state. We also want to get our desired state, i.e. goals, right? We then want to kind of understand the gap stopping them, right? And there's a few, other things that you can kind of go in, deeper with that to, invoke urgency, get them to make a decision earlier on, whatever it may be. But that's essentially what this part is. Then we have our pitch, right? We then have some sort of like temp check. Then we have price drop, right? And then we have objections. So with every call, there's really like 5 steps that we kind of have: discovery, pitch, temp check, price drop, objection, right? At least this is how, I've always done sales, and that's ultimately what we have. So let's say that a prospect hits you with a think about it objection, right, at the end of the call. And the majority of the time, all of these objections, right, whether it's think about it, whether it's spouse, whether it's, hey, I gotta, take some time to kind of go through my finances, whether it's, hey, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me, right, like a scam objection, a lot of it is going to loop into other objections throughout. So I'll start to show you guys how these loops all intertwine, right? Because it's going to get really interesting. So objection of thinking about it. So let's say at the end of the call, right, you say, yeah, man, it's going to be 10 grand. Yeah, it's 10 grand. How do you want to pay? Right? 10 grand, how do you want to pay? So the prospect, right, then says, yeah, Kekoa, I need to think about it, right? Oh, I gotta, move some funds around. Doesn't really matter what they say. I honestly don't really care what they say. So there's two ways that you can go about this, kind of depending on how they're framing it. Hey, I need some, I need 2 weeks to think about it, whatever, right? But the framework is the same. So let's say the prospect, we'll use we'll use like red, says, yeah, this all sounds good. Sounds good, but can I have, a few or some time to think about it? And if they say this, right, then my next step, my word track. So in this video, I'm essentially teaching you word tracks, right? What are the word tracks that we want to follow in order to get us to our desired outcome, right? So prospect says, yeah, I want to think about it. Okay, this sounds good. Can I have some time to think? I'll say something like, I mean, for sure. I mean, how much time do you need to think about this? Just that. And I shut up, right? The prospect will probably tell me, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, right? Okay, 2 to 3 weeks, totally understand. Between now and the next 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, what do you feel like you would really be thinking about? And then whatever they tell me, that's going to be the real objection, right? So most likely, what are they going to tell me from this? Most likely, they're going to say, I don't trust you, I've been scammed, right? I got to talk to my wife, which is another smoke screen, right? Like, why do you need to talk to your wife? Like, what are you guys going to talk about, right? This might be, you know, I got to figure out finances. Doesn't really matter what they're saying because this will just take us to another loop, right? So right here, we isolate the real objection. Now, let's say that they don't really give us a timeline. Um, I'll just say something like, cool, I mean, not a problem. I mean, before you think about this, I mean, do you actually feel this will get you out of XYZ pain into XYZ goals, right? So if they give you a time objection, right, which is kind of have some time to think about it, how much time do you need? What are you thinking about? Then if they're just saying, I need to think about it, then I want to tie down that they actually believe that our solution is going to take them to where they want to go, right? So I want to make sure that it's not a smokescreen here, right? So I need to isolate that this is not a smokescreen, right? And if you guys are like not in sales at all, like this might be this might be a little bit over your head. But but if we do that and we isolate that this is not a smokescreen, then that's going to help us with the next avenue, right? So not a problem. Before you think about this, I mean, do you actually feel we can take you out of XYZ pain into XYZ goals? Simple as that, right? Why? Then I'm going to get buy-in. So what does this do? This is actual buy-in. So buy-in on the reason why, right? So I'll be like, yeah, Kekoa, can I think about it? Not a problem, John. Before you do think about it, I mean, do you actually feel like we can take you out of XYZ pain into XYZ goal? Okay, and why do you feel that way? Okay, and when you do go think about it, John, or whatever his name is, I mean, what's coming up so I can see how I can help? So you see how we just went through two different think about it objections. He'll say, can I have some time to think about it? Okay, how much time do you need? 2 to 3 weeks. Between now and XYZ time, what do you feel like you'd be thinking about? If it's the other way, right? Not a problem, right? Or we make sure it's not a smokescreen here, right? Okay, you got to think about it. Not a problem. Before you do go and think, I mean, do you actually feel like our program or whatever we're selling, right? Let's say it's the keto diet. I mean, not a problem. Think about it as long as you want. I mean, before you do go think about, getting started with, this fitness program, I mean, do you actually feel that keto, our method, right, is going to allow you to get out of XYZ pain into XYZ goal? So we want to diffuse, right? We diffuse the objection by saying, not a problem, before you do think about it, etc. Right? And then we get buy-in, buy-in. Then we get getting out of this situation, right? Getting out of the situation, and then into goals, into goals. So this is kind of like our 4-step framework here on this. Okay, diffuse, buy-in, getting out of situation, into goals, right? And then I'll then jump into, okay, so when you do go and think about it, I mean, what's really coming up? So I can see, how I can even help. This is then coming from a place of service, right? And then this isolates the real objection, right? Diffuse, buy-in, getting out of situation into goals. Why does this work? When you do go think about it, what's coming up so I can see how I can help? Isolate the real objection. Boom. Now, what's going to happen here? So there's going to be 3 different objections because a lot of the times you'll just get, I need to think about it, or, oh, that's a fuck ton of money. It doesn't really matter because all these objections are the same, right? So we need to figure out all our thing about objections, right? And if you guys saw my last training, I'll link that here. If you guys saw my last training, it was like a 2-hour training live. You'll see that I actually live objection handle on that training for like 5 different objections all at once. So it's like objection, 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 right? So what's going to happen here? Well, we have 3 routes. So after I think about it, I'll probably get either partner, money, or fear, right? Which are all bullshit, right? Okay, so let's say it's a fear objection. Yeah, Kekoa, I'm really nervous, right? I'm really nervous to get started with this. Fuck yeah. Like, of course they're nervous. They're about to spend $10,000 on the phone with a stranger they just met on the internet, right? They're going to be nervous, and that's okay, right? So we understand that they're nervous. Cool. So, I mean, okay, John, I mean, that's completely normal. I mean, once again, I mean, truly believe that, our program, right? The fitness method, it depends on what you're selling, obviously, but do you believe that our program, I mean, actually will allow you to get out of XYZ pain into XYZ goal? Cool. I mean, do you believe that like the keto method would actually allow you to, shred off that extra weight and start you helping, build more muscle so you can be more confident and talk to girls? Okay, cool. Right. So you start to see my word track, right? So think about it, right? We figure out, oh, I'm just scared. Fear objection. I'm nervous. So then I go into, okay, I mean, that's completely normal. I mean, once again, do you truly believe that, the program that we actually have here, I mean, will even help you achieve that goal you mentioned? Okay, and why is that again? Remind me. Self-doubt to actually do it, right? Elaborate for me. So we get buy-in, right? And then if they're like so it's a self-doubt objection, we kind of have to start coaching them. Okay, I mean, elaborate for me. I guess, why is that? Why do we feel that way? If it's support, right? Um, yeah, I'm scared. So let's say they say I'm scared because I've been scammed. Oh, okay, I guess what happened in the past? Oh, they didn't really have a community. Community in the past, whatever. Okay, and I mean, based on our conversation, like, do you feel like the program that we have here would actually give you the support you need? Right? So then they're going to hit you with a few different objections. I've only just met you. I'm not sure if it will go well. I had another program screw me. And then we handle this objection. We go back into commitment and then we close, right? So let's kind of role play what I could say here. So, okay, I've only just met you. I mean, for sure. Um, I'll change this to green. So this is what I would be saying. Oh, for sure. I mean, we did just meet. But from our conversation, from the testimonials, from literally everything you've seen, do you genuinely feel that this will get you out of XYZ pain into XYZ goals, right? Because everything that we want to do is going to be results based, right? I need to make sure that everything that they see, right, we're getting buy-in that they genuinely believe that this is going to be the best solution for them, right? They need to believe that this is the best solution. So then we're going to handle this objection and then go back into commitment and close. So the whole premise, right? The whole premise behind objection handling is to isolate the actual problem, right? So let's go through a scenario, right? Like we have to get as specific as possible. So is this specific? No, this is pretty broad. I've only just met you. So like, okay, so why do you not trust us, Mr. Prospect? John, why do you not trust me? Oh, I've only just met you. Okay, I mean that's definitely for sure. We did just meet, but from our conversation, from the testimonials, from literally everything you've seen, I mean, do you genuinely feel that we're going to get you into desired outcome, right? Because what are the only three things that someone needs to buy? Three beliefs. And there's definitely more beliefs, but like these are like broad beliefs. So three broad beliefs someone needs to buy. So they need to trust you, trust the product, or trust the mechanism. And honestly, this is even more important. They have to trust the mechanism before they, actually trust you, and then trust themselves. So honestly, them trusting you is probably the least important thing. But right, this is ultimately what's going to make them buy. So they must trust the mechanism. They must believe that, let's say you're selling a fitness plan, you're selling someone how to lose weight. Well, they need to believe that however your mechanism is, whether it's cutting carbs, whether it's, eating just meat, whether it's going vegan, doesn't matter. They need to believe that that mechanism is going to help them achieve the dream outcome. That's all it is. They must believe that your mechanism will get them to desired outcome. Then they have to trust themselves. Are they going to implement? Right? Are they going to implement? Will they have time? You know, are they going to put in the work? They need to trust you. I mean, trusting you is not even that important. It's important, sure. But if they don't have these two things, like they're never going to buy even if they like you, right? And they can also, what's funny is that a prospect can dislike you, but they can still trust and buy from you. And this was a very important limiting belief that I had to overcome when I was getting in sales and really just taking this thing full stride, is that someone can hate you, but they can still trust you enough and buy from you. Because if they trust the mechanism, you show them that they need to have belief, or they can have belief in themselves to hold themselves accountable, to put in the work, to do everything. Then it doesn't matter as much of them trusting you, because they can well, it matters that they trust you, but they can still like dislike you, right? They can still not like you. They can hate your guts, but they can still buy from you, right? As long as you're being respectful towards them, of course. So let's say another one is, had another program screw me. Okay, what happened, right? So we just need clarity on this. What happened? What happened on this, right? We got to figure out. So overall, that's exactly what we need. So we got to trust the mechanism, trust themselves, trust you, right? And the biggest thing is isolating and getting clarity. So biggest thing for objection handling is isolating real objection and gaining clarity on final outcome or final real objection. So it's really just isolating the objection, getting clarity on it, right? So that is yeah, so that is, think about an objection, then you isolate the real objection. They'll probably hit you with one of three different routes from there, which is going to be partner, money, or fear. We just did fear. So let's hop into partner objection, right? Once again, partner objection is normally, right? And there's a lot of nuances to this, right? I'm not going to be able to cover all that in this video. There's a lot of nuances to this, but a partner objection is most likely another smokescreen. So we got to figure this out. So whatever someone, and this is a good way to put it with every objection, but a lot of people will say that their objection is one thing when it's really something else. So if it's I don't trust you, right? Like if my objection to this person was, I don't really trust you guys. like in my head, I might try to get out of it by being respectful to the sales guy. Yeah, dude, I just gotta talk to my wife. I just gotta talk to her. But that's not my real objection. It was just I don't really trust you guys, so I want to get off this call. I'm gonna use my wife as a cop out, right? So it's important for you as a salesperson to be able to understand, hey, this is actually a smoke screen here. We actually got to, get buy-in on this and actually figure this out. So partner objection, this is how I'll kind of flow. So no worries, John. I mean, is your partner like aware of you being on this call? Like, is she pretty supportive of you getting towards your goals? So what is this doing? So right here, we're getting buy-in on the fact that the spouse is supportive of him getting to his goals, getting his goals, right? I don't really care if she knows about the program. I don't really care about a lot of that stuff. I just want to know that the wife is supportive of him getting to his goals. Then, right, I might get this to elaborate. I mean, do you feel like your partner would want you to get, out of your dead end job, start making more money and, be able to travel together? I mean, what is he going to say? He's going to be like, well, duh, yes, right? And then I might go into a flow where, okay, cool. Okay, I mean, that's great. So when you do go and talk to her, what would you guys really be talking about? And then he'll be like, oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about money. Or, oh, we'll be talking about XYZ. Oh, whatever. But once again, it doesn't really matter because we get to the real objection. So if you remember over here, right, the biggest thing for objection handling is isolating the real objection and getting clarity on the final one. Well, the partner objection here was actually looping back into money objection, right? Now, on the other hand, some people might just give us a money objection. So let's run the flow from the top. So let's say it starts with a think about it objection, but then it flows into a spouse objection, and then it's going to flow into a price objection. So someone would be like, cool, yeah, Kekoa, sounds good. Can I have some time to think about it? For sure, man. I mean, how much time do you really need to think about it? 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. I mean, between now and XYZ time, I mean, what do you feel like you would really be thinking about? Trust, scam, whatever. Isolate the real objection, right? What does this take us to? 3 routes, partner objection, right? Hey, I gotta talk to my wife. I've been scammed, gotta talk to my wife, whatever. Okay, no worries. I mean, is your partner aware of you being on this call? Oh, okay, they are. Cool. And would you say they're pretty supportive of you getting out of XYZ pain into XYZ goal? Okay. Oh, they are. Okay, great. So I guess when you, go and talk to her, right? Okay, that's great. So when you do go and talk to her, I mean, what do you guys feel like you would really be talking about? Money, right? Money objection. Okay. So funds aside, right? I mean, do you actually feel like this is going to take you to where you want to be? Okay, you do. Right now, if at any point he's saying no, I don't think this is going to get me there. Well, once again, it takes us back to the whole thing of, heck, they got to believe that the mechanism works. So this is the most important thing. Like, if they don't believe this, then you're going to have a really hard time selling anybody, right? But essentially, we want to get to the root cause of what is the problem. Like, why are they not going to pay? Like, why are they not going to change their life? Right? So, funds aside, I mean, do you feel like you're going to get the results? Right? So, funds aside, like, do you actually feel this will help you get out of XYZ into XYZ? Okay, and why do you feel so strongly that this is the best route for you? Why do you feel that way? Just like genuinely curious, right? Now, we call this consequence or like ramifications. It's like, hey, what are the ramifications here if we don't do anything different? So I might be like, okay, funds aside, do you actually feel like this will help you? Okay, why do you feel so strongly? And then I'm not even bringing up finances yet. We're not even having a conversation about finances. Okay, John. So, I mean, if you continue doing exactly what you're doing now and, feeling this pain for that you've been in for XYZ, right? Not making a change in your life. I mean, for another 2 months, 6 months, like we don't do anything different. I mean, how would we be able to accomplish XYZ goal? So this is an if how statement. So we have if how. So if you continue eating unhealthy, John, and you don't start exercising, for another 2 months, another 6 months, another 12 months, I mean, how will you ever be able to become more confident, talk to girls and travel and do all the things you mentioned? So we need to make them understand, hey, if this keeps continuing, how will you ever get to XYZ? Right? And that's obviously something we cover a lot more in detail on our live, training calls inside the Modern SDR as well. So once again, in the description below, you can book a call. But that is essentially what the consequence questions are, right? And that's to make them understand the impact of not making a change. So this creates urgency to make a decision as soon as possible, right? Which obviously helps you as the salesperson, right? So for pharmaceutical drugs, this might be, okay, so if we don't find a new drug to take that you can, help you with your asthma and fuck, I mean, this continues for another 12 to, 2 to 12 months. I mean, how will you be able to continue running that you love and hitting the gym so that you're able to feel happy? So the prospect realizes if I don't figure out a way to take this new drug to handle my asthma, how I won't be able to continue going to the gym or doing all the things I love and care about. And that ultimately gets them to make the decision that we have to make a change, right? And then, of course, from there, what happens after that? Well, okay, are you open to having an honest conversation about, finances? I'll be like, okay, John. So, I mean, no worries at all. I mean, John, would you be opposed to having like an open and honest conversation about finances? Okay, cool, John. Yeah. I mean, how much do you have in checking? Okay, how much do you have in savings? Okay, how much do you have in investments? How much do you have 401k? Right? And then we get the exact amount they have on hand. Once again, we get another buy-in. So I might be like, okay, money aside, do you actually want to do this? Right? And exploring why they want to do this. And then depending on if you have payment plans, whatever it is, then you get commitment that they move forward if you can make a plan. So money aside, you actually want to do this, explore what they want. Cool. So if we were able to come up with a plan, right? If we could come up with some sort of plan, I'm not saying that we can, but if we could, would you be 100% committed to move forward here today? So we get buy-in that they're committed to move forward if we can make something happen. So I get a yes on that. I know how much money they have in their wallet. So it's open wallet, commitment, and then it's figuring out payment plan from there. Right? So the order of how you do all of this matters so much. Matters so much. Right? Because if it's out of order, then the flow doesn't make sense. The prospect's confused, like it just won't work. Right? So there's a lot, right? And this is just still, I mean, there's a lot of like nuances with all of this and this is ultimately what we teach inside, the modern SDR, right? Once again, to kind of recap, right? What are the three things that someone needs to believe in order to buy? They got to trust the mechanism, they got to trust themselves, and they got to trust you. They can dislike you, but they can still trust and buy from you, right? So you need to trust the mechanism, trust themselves, and trust you, right? And then we have 5 steps really. So discovery, pain point, desired state, gap, stopping them. We have the pitch, we have a temp check, we have a price drop, objection, right? This is how every sales call will run. This was mainly focused on objections today, right? With the different price objections. We have, how we isolate the objection. But ultimately, if you want to learn more about this, how to get started with remote triaging, online sales, once again, we have a private community called the Modern SDR. Link will be in the description down below. There should be like a training opt-in. You can understand a little bit more kind of how our program works. And if, of course, you want to, work more closely with myself as well as our team, you can book on a call. I also host live workshops mostly every Thursday. These are paid workshops, but we go for probably about 2 hours pretty in detail with all this sort of stuff you see here. There should be a link to that in the description as well. And we have a few other, programs and offers for, ranging for just, 7 to like $50. So I hope this was helpful though. Share with a friend if it was, leave a like, leave a comment. We'd love to hear more feedback from you guys, seeing what you want, seeing what you like, etc. And I'll catch you in the next training. Peace.